embracing your authentic self in a people pleasing world. We've been fed a lie that has infiltrated every aspect of our lives, from our relationships to our careers to our very sense of self. It's a lie that tells us that to be good, to be worthy, to be loved, we must constantly put others before ourselves, that our own needs and desires are somehow less important than those around us. But I'm here to tell you that this couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, I believe that learning to embrace our authentic selves is not only essential for our own well being and fulfillment, but it's also the key to truly making a positive impact on the world. Now, I know this might sound counterintuitive. We've been conditioned to believe that selflessness is the ultimate virtue, that the more we sacrifice our own needs, the more noble and heroic we are. But let me ask you this: how can you possibly show up fully for others if you're not first showing up for yourself? I learned this lesson the hard way. For years, I was the ultimate people pleaser. I said yes to every request, took on every responsibility, put everyone else's needs before my own. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was being a good person. But in reality, I was slowly losing myself. I became a hollow shell of a person, constantly exhausted, resentful, and unfulfilled. I had given so much of myself away that I no longer recognized the person staring back at me in the mirror. And the worst part, my inability to honor my own needs was actually hurting the very people I wanted to help. You see, when we consistently prioritize others at the expense of ourselves, we send a subconscious message that our needs don't matter, that we're not worthy of love and respect unless we're constantly sacrificing. And over time, this takes a toll on our mental, emotional, and even physical health. But here's the thing: you can't pour from an empty cup, you can't give what you don't have. And when you're running on empty, you're not showing up as your best self for anyone. Not your family, not your friends, not your colleagues, and certainly not yourself. So, how do we break free from this toxic cycle of people pleasing? How do we learn to embrace our authentic selves in a world that constantly tells us to put others first? It starts with a radical shift in perspective. We need to recognize that self care and self compassion are not indulgences, right? They're necessities. That setting boundaries and honoring our own needs is not selfish, but rather an act of self preservation and self respect. That by showing up authentically and unapologetically, we give others permission to do the same. Now, I can already hear the objections. But what about our responsibilities? What about the people who depend on us? We can't just abandon them to focus on ourselves. And you're right. We can't, but this isn't about swinging to the other extreme of self absorption and disregard for others. It's about finding a middle ground. It's about learning to honor ourselves and others. It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected and that by taking care of ourselves, we're better equipped to show up fully and compassionately for those around us. Imagine for a moment what the world would look like if more of us embraced this perspective. If we all felt permission to honor our own unique needs, gifts, and boundaries, I believe we'd see a world of much happier, more fulfilled individuals, people who felt empowered to let their lights shine fully without dimming themselves to fit someone else's expectations. And from that place of wholeness, we'd be able to give more to others and to the causes we care about, not from a place of depletion, but from a place of overflow. We'd be able to create ripples of authenticity, compassion, and positive change that would extend far beyond ourselves. So, how do we start? How do we begin to embrace our authentic selves more fully? It starts with small daily acts of courage and self love. It starts with learning to listen to and honor our inner voice, even when it goes against what others might expect of us. It means setting boundaries that allow us to operate from a place of alignment and integrity. It means surrounding ourselves with people who celebrate our true selves, not those who want us to conform to their expectations. It means remembering that we deserve to take up space, to honor our needs, to say no when something doesn't feel right. And let me tell you, no is a complete sentence. You don't need to justify or explain your boundaries. It's okay to make choices that honor your well being. In fact, it's more than okay. It's fundamental to being a healthy, thriving human being. My friends, embracing your authentic self is not a one time event. It's a lifelong journey of unlearning and relearning, of shedding the layers of conditioning and expectations that have kept us small and confined. It takes courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to step into the unknown. But I promise you, it's a journey worth taking because when you show up fully as yourself with all your beautiful quirks and imperfections, you become a beacon of light for others. You give them permission to do the same. And together we create a world where everyone feels seen, heard, and valued for who they truly are. So let this be your wake up call, your invitation to start embracing your authentic self more fully, to lead with your values and operate from a place of worthiness. The world needs more people like you, shining brightly and unapologetically. It's time for a revolution of authenticity, self love, and radical compassion. It starts with each one of us making the choice to honor ourselves fully, to say yes to our own needs and desires, to set boundaries that allow us to thrive. And as we do this, as we step into our authentic power, we create a ripple effect that transforms not only our own lives, but the lives of everyone around us. We become the change we wish to see in the world. So go forth from this place and remember, honoring yourself is not selfish. It's the key to living a life of meaning, connection, and positive impact. It's the foundation upon which all else is built. Embrace your authentic self, unapologetically, fiercely, with every fiber of your being. Because when you do, you set yourself and others free. You become a force for good in ways you never thought possible. The time is now. The world is waiting for you to step into your truth. Will you answer the call?